Let's take a look at the trading day ahead on Wall Street. We're going to bring back Piers Curran. He is the head of trading at Amplify Trading for some insights here today. So let's talk strategy here. Aforementioned bullish man. What do you think here? We've had a pretty good run. Earnings season did not disappoint. It did not really motivate, at least in many circles as well. Did you get the kind of guidance that you want to make you want to focus in on any of the underperforming, outperforming sectors?
I think overall, see, the problem was with the earnings season, everybody was expecting good numbers, and when good numbers arrive, you know, what do? And I think largely speaking, middle of October, where we hit the kind of 2009 highs, I think we did struggle for upside to get through and stay above, you know, 1100 in the S&P, and you know, I don't think those good earnings had the quite the push that some investors were wanting. Then, you know, the last couple of weeks we've had a few hiccups with concerns about stimulus removal, and obviously the housing situation where we've had, well, a run of bad housing data. So I think going into this week, you've got to look back to where we were in mid-October, and first of all, the stimulus worries have been removed. Second of all, I think the non-farm payrolls result on Friday was particularly, well, was good, and I think for those two reasons the market will trend higher. I think the market will digest those situations throughout this week, and I think we'll drift and trend higher on a pretty unspectacular week.
Can we have the sort of move that we had in September, the end of August? Everybody was getting a little bit cautious. Yeah. We were talking about September as the most volatile month, you know, in history, and we had a G20 meeting then, the same meeting, central bankers and finance ministers, and the same message came out: stimulus is staying low. And then we had the best sort of September I think we've ever had, certainly round off for the UK, the best quarter ever. Could something be similar again? If you're so keen on this message from G20, can we get something as strong as September or not?
No, I would say not. Obviously, the higher we get, the harder it becomes to maintain that momentum. And I think, you know, we're coming towards, people have been waiting for a dip to get along these markets, okay? And the last couple of weeks, the low we hit last Monday, that was the dip. It wasn't as big as most people wanted, but I think that was the dip that people wanted before the end of the year.
But are you going to take a long position, or are you going to trade it short term?
Well, we've been trading. Yeah, we've been buying last week, and we will hold that for the next couple of weeks, definitely, and that's the kind of short-term view. I'd say in the long-term view, you know, if you have been long throughout the summer, you want to stay long. I think if you haven't been long and you've missed out on the majority of this up move, then I think last week was possibly your last opportunity for a good buying level before the end of the year. Having said that, I'm not saying it's just going to explode through the highs. I think it's going to be a slower trend higher, and I don't see that there's going to be another correction before Christmas.
Yes, Christine here. You said you've been buying. What have you been buying?
Well, we actually trade. We're keeping it simple in these kind of turbulent times. We just trade indexes. We trade. Well, I trade futures mainly. So, stock indices are what we're looking at currently.
Interesting, Piers. As far as indexes, I mean, do you set a price target here? I mean, are you just looking to kind of ride this momentum, at least for this next week that's, you know, just kind of the vacuum week, for lack of a more delicate term?
We've certainly got targets, but we're very nimble. We're in and out on a fairly short time frame, which I think has been the best strategy for the whole year. If you know, in terms of how long you're willing to hold any of these trades, the more adaptable and the more nimble you can be in these markets, I think the better upside that you can get.
All right, Piers, my bear suit's uncomfortable. The futures are higher. I appreciate it very much. Piers Curran, the head of trading at Amplify.